Hey everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today I'm going to talk to you about the effects of my medication on my creativity and also how my mental health is impacting my painting practice. So this whole video is going to be about that. For my recent stay in the hospital, all of my painting experience for the last 10 years is I have been a daily painter for 10 years, and I don't do just a painting a day. I often do several paintings a day. And I never found that exhausting or tiring. In fact, it was one of the things that enlivened me and gave me energy. So sitting down and painting for 5, 6, 8 hours felt amazing to me in my brain. And that is really different right now. So when I think about how painting felt to me before this time, words I would have used was effortless. Creativity flows to me like water. My creative energy comes out of me easily. When I would go and look for a technique or an idea, I would find it easily. I often, as you guys would know, if you've painted with me for any amount of time, I don't even rehearse a painting before I do it. I just know how it's going to go together. And then I just know the flow of it and what needs to be broken down so you guys can paint it with me and paint with me too. And that was just as easy as it could possibly be. But now things are very, very different. Now that I'm out of the hospital and I am discharged and I'm in maintenance, right, which is taking my medication and having checkups with doctors and psychiatrists, everything about my creative process has really changed. I can still see how a painting breaks down. I can still absolutely understand the techniques that are required to create it. But when I go to execute those, that has become really challenging and even more important, really tiring. Like 40 minutes of painting feels like 20 to me. Like what 20 would have made me feel like if I just didn't take a nap is now what just 40 minutes of painting is like to me. And it's really changed my creative process. I'm like still doing something every day, but I'm not doing an entire project every day. And that's been really different. The medications that I take have made me a little bit foggy, and they definitely have impacted my muscle memory. And then plus I'm recovering from a manic episode, so that's still healing. My brain is still healing. And so some of those things that were easy before, they're still sort of behind, almost like, I think of it like this, like I have so many tokens and I used to have all of the tokens, but for reasons that are outside of my control, I now have like 10 tokens for creativity and I only have that to spend, and they spend up pretty quickly now. And I have to factor that in to me as a creative being, as an outlet, as a YouTuber, as a teacher, how I address the creativity that I've got going on now on this medication in this new way. Needless to say, initially when this started being a problem and a challenge, I was really alarmed. I make my money online. I do all of my creativity online. And I am a person who, by the way I've constructed my life, not only likes to paint every day, I need to paint every day. In fact, in the hospital, there was a lot of humorous discussion about how my hobby activity that I use to be calm and to be zen is also the activity for which I work, and it's a requirement of me to do every day. And here I have these hindrances like this medication, and this medication is making it hard for me to do that every day. And initially, that was really frustrating for me, and I really had to do work to think about how I can be easier on myself, how I can be more compassionate about myself. Because not being on the medication, that's not an option. I can't go off because it makes me feel a little foggy. I can't just stop taking it because it's interfering with my creativity or dampening my personality, because it's doing very important healing work right now, helping me get better from a really serious episode. And what I did learn from that episode is you can't just power on hard and barrel through. There's consequences. There's like deep, profound consequences for ignoring all the many cues that your brain gives you that it is doing too much and it's really feeling fatigued. And if you're somebody who could power through, why wouldn't you? I mean, I think I come from a generation that lives on the powering through mentality of like, you just work harder, you just nose the grindstone, you just, you hit the wall and then you just move through it. Like I have 1,000 analogies that I think being really specifically Generation X would give me about just working anyways. And now I have to look at this and go, but right now, doing those kinds of activities could give me a terrible setback or really undermine my recovery. And so I'm having to approach these things in a completely different way. So going forward, I had to create new strategies, new paths into creativity. In some cases, really literally went back to the drawing board and started doing essential core drawing techniques and practices like draw a box in 2-point perspective, shade the box, light the box, and then maybe I can't do anything else with the box, right? You might have noticed that I'm doing a really involved painting, but you're seeing it in stages, right? And that one's been a really important one to me because I picked something that was challenging within my wheelhouse that I could definitely do, but that was going to really ask a lot of me. And then I work a little bit on it. And when I feel the fatigue or when I feel the fog, then I just go, okay, brushes down. This is when we stop. And I literally go lay down and close my eyes and not take a nap per se, but I meditate a little bit and I rest my brain. And then I do a different other activity. I've also like been journaling and waxing a little more philosophical than lately online. I do a really fun, I can't write, like type as effectively as I used to. So I do voice to text, which is interesting because the voice to text never understands everything I'm fully saying. So I always have to read it very carefully after. Those things are good workouts for my brain. They're good about getting my brain strong again. And I'm starting to recognize the cues that my body gives me to let me know, hey, you're doing great, but this is the edge and this is too much. And I'm backing off. And then I'm realizing, if I have a hard day creatively, like if it's a real struggle to do the 40 minutes or hour, which is what I seem to be at right now, I will make sure that I get extra sleep or I go to bed earlier because that really makes a huge difference in how I feel the following day. At least for this, sleep is everything. And so I'm really practicing good sleep hygiene. I am taking vitamins right now, and they're all, I check them with my doctor. Do that. Check with your doctor that the vitamins you're taking are safe to take with your medication. But I'm taking a series of vitamins that are doctor recommended that are helping my brain recovery health. I'm communicating with my doctor about how I'm feeling and what's going on. And they're communicating with me, letting me know what I can expect going forward. And so I can make plans in that. And I think that's really key is taking up different things too. Like I've been doing doodles and I'm considering taking up crochet. I recently got a fish that I'm very fond of, and I spend time taking care of the fish and thinking about the fish. And that seems to be good for me and the fish. We're both enjoying each other very much. But these little things become big practices and really getting down to being very candid with myself about today I can do this and not allowing the pressures of work to dictate what I do, but instead the needs of my mind and spirit and body to guide what I do. And it's really, if you're in this situation where, especially if you're taking medication and you're not enjoying the medication, really talk to your medical professional. Don't just go off of things because they're frustrating you. There's often a very good reason that you're on a medication. Just don't actually make decisions on my advice or without a doctor, I guess is what I'm saying. Talk to your medical people. I've been talking to my medical people, and when I express my frustration about it, every single person in my medical chain has been very, very congruent in this is what you have to do right now if you want to be better 6 months from now, which I do. I want to be better 6 months from now. So it's very motivating to listen to them and do what they say because that's where I'd like to be. And so these are the things that I'm doing to get back into my mental health and my creative process and find my creative stride again and how I'm relating to it at this moment. Now, one thing I just have to say in this video is thank you to you all. Your comments have been beyond kind. You guys have been so brave in what you're sharing, and so many of you have reached out and let me know you went through something almost exactly like what I went through, or other challenges that were really profound. I appreciate all of you who just come by and say, hey, we're still with you. Take the time you need. The community has been incredible, and I think I can't imagine what it would be like for a YouTuber that did not have the support that I have from my community, and I do. You guys have been great. I want to thank all the patrons for hanging in and being a patron while our classes are so much shorter. And but you guys have been liking them, so that's been working, And I appreciate everyone coming to the videos that I am doing and really trying to make sure you comment on those. It's been really reassuring that I can take the time I need to get well, and then I'm not going to lose everything that I've been building for the last 10 years because I am, in this state temporarily. So thank you very, very much for being so kind. This doesn't mean I can't be a creator at all on the platform. It just means I have to create a little differently or release less content. So what you're going to see is I've got some in the vault videos that I've held on to for years. So I'm going to be releasing these videos that I made in the past for Lifebook, and I'm going to be releasing that to the community. Every once in a while, you'll see a live session come up. If you see a live session, don't worry. I won't schedule it unless I'm absolutely sure that I'm good for it. And if I'm in a live session and I feel like I'm not doing well, I will just be candid and we will just do a two-parter. So I'm really prepared for everything going forward. I just know that some elements of my channel temporarily need to change. I do feel kind of confident because there really are, if you count the live videos and the recorded videos, there's 2,000 lessons here. So there's a lot to do. You guys have been pretty amazing. I see a lot of older content surfacing, and I've been making a point of sharing older videos that you might be interested in seeing over on Facebook and Instagram. So when you see those images come up, know that there's an older video with a full set of support that comes with it that cool painting comes with. So I'm going to kind of resurface some old content, bring to you older content you haven't seen. And when I feel good, do a live here and there. So I know from talking to you that all of you have human experiences, just like I'm having a human experience right now. And any of us can find ourselves sort of disrupted in our creative flow, grief, illness, just really honestly stress, just being like having to work too much, not getting enough sleep, having runs of insomnia. So many things can interrupt the creative process for anyone. And so I really have appreciated hearing your stories and you guys sharing your encouragement to say, hey, I was through something like this once and now I'm on the other side. Or maybe you're saying, hey, I'm doing this right now with you. And, it's good to see that we don't got to be hard on ourselves. And that's really the key is you've been hearing me talk about radical self-compassion. And really all that means is that you just talk to yourself either to the inner child you used to be or however you would speak to your best friend when you start to question if you can prioritize the rest or prioritize the things you need to heal. And I want to suggest to you that you do put yourself on that priority list. You don't want to sit there and just power through. When you need that time, when you need that kindness, just don't hesitate to give it to yourself. I'm also working on doing little things for myself, little small things like laying down and doing a meditation or taking a walk when the day is lovely. Just little things to prioritize myself in the day. And I hope you do that as well. I really appreciate everybody's support. I'm not going to go anywhere. This is still my mission in life. This is still my purpose, and I love it. And I love you guys more than anything. It's just going to be a little different for a little while, and that's okay, because it can be. Because this isn't a sprint. This is a marathon, and you know what? I'm just going to walk a little bit slower during this leg of the marathon. But when I'm back to myself and it's not hurting me, I'm going to get back to running because that's fun for me. Painting for hours and doing big, giant lessons live, that's fun for me. And when that's possible for me again, I'm going to absolutely do it. And until then, we're going to have lots of fun little lessons and bring ideas together and just continue being a supportive community of artists that are there for each other for all the different stages and phases of life. I really, really can't emphasize enough that I want you to be good to yourself and be good to each other. And I want to see you doing healthy things real soon. Bye-bye.